Thanks, Candace. I'm joined here with Claire Carter, a first-year transfer student who's employed by FCNL, the Friends Committee on National Legislation, which, to my understanding, is a Quaker-based national organization centered out of D.C., which focuses on employing and training lobbyists of political issues. Feel free to elaborate if I missed some important points.
Yeah, they're a peace lobbying organization, and they focus on, they have a lot of lobbyists that they have employed in DC, and they go to the Hill and they talk to congressmen, Congress people about the issues that they're lobbying on. They lobby about a lot of different issues. They have an immigration section, they have a nuclear weapons lobbying section, and climate change. They lobby a bunch of different issues.
And specifically, the issue that has been most focused on, at least in your time with the organization, has been gun violence prevention. Am I correct to say that?
Yes.
Now, as we know, the issue of gun control is a very hot button, tends to grab some polarizing reactions from people, but gun violence prevention seems a little harder to debate. What exact legislation is being pushed that differentiates gun violence prevention from gun control?
Yeah, sure. So maybe I should just tell a little bit about what I actually do.
Yeah.
So I am employed by the Friends Committee on National Legislation to lobby congresspeople in district. So I lobby Senator Warner, Senator Kane, and Congressman Griffith here in Southwest Virginia, and I am lobbying them on gun violence prevention issues. So the two pieces of legislation that I am lobbying them on, they are Senate Bill 42, which is the Universal Background Checks Bill. That's if I'm lobbying Senator Warner or Senator Kane. Or it's HR 1236, which is the Extreme Risk Protection Order Bill if I'm lobbying Congressman Griffith.
Gotcha. Now, how would you say that, because these lobby visits, at least in my understanding, you gather people from the local area who are interested in or invested in this issue. How would you say the turnout has been starting on the immediate surrounding area of Emory and Henry campus, as well as perhaps the Abingdon, Meadowview area, and then just the Southwest Virginia area?
Sure, yeah. So to get people to lobby with me, it was a little bit of a struggle at first, just because I think when people do hear gun violence prevention, they automatically think a buyback or assault weapons ban, which is not popular in this region. But that's not what I'm lobbying for. I'm lobbying for two very specific pieces of legislation: universal background checks and extreme risk protection orders. So after that was made more clear, it's easier to get people out. So at school, I've gotten a good turnout of students, but then the real turnout, I think, has been in the surrounding communities. I did a gun violence vigil commemorating the anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting in December, and a lot of people from the community came, and they put their email addresses down to go lobby with me, to go lobby Congressman Griffith's office with me, and so I got a lot of people to go with me on that trip because they came to the gun violence vigil, and that was mostly, there were some students, but it was mostly people from the community.
So community members' engagement has been pretty high.
Yeah.
So going back to the student population, which of course is the main, I guess, if you're on campus, the easiest to reach out to. Would you say the people who have been involved on your lobbying trips, does their investment tend to come from a personal, passionate stance on the issue, or is it an interest in lobbying, or is it a lot of sociology and political science majors, or just in your gauging of the crowd?
Yeah. So I think that it's a mix. A lot of the times when some people, when I advertise it as a lobbying opportunity, something that you can put on your resume, and that gets some people. Sometimes and because this issue isn't super popular,
definitely,
sometimes I come out of the gate with, we're talking about universal background checks and extreme risk protection orders. Sometimes I come out of the gate with, this is a good lobbying experience, and then I get them more on board after they have come to the training and know a little bit more about what it's about. But the passion that comes with going into lobby visits is really what makes a lobby visit. The most important part of a lobby visit is why you're there, your personal story. So there does have to be some reason why they're there, whether it be that they, or originally just wanted to be in it because they wanted to experience lobbying, or it's because they had a personal experience with gun violence.
Yeah, yeah. And going into, so you're part of FCNL, or employed by them. Would you say you're on the younger end of the spectrum for people they employ? Because I know it's national and it draws a lot of interest. Would you say you're one of the younger activists?
Yeah.
Or lobbyists?
Well, so my job is technically called the Advocacy Corps. So I'm part of the Advocacy Corps class of 2019 to 2020.
Okay.
So there are 20 of us, and they're all under the age of 30. I think that the oldest is in her late 20s, but they're all young people and they're lobbying in district in their states. So in that regard, I'm not the youngest employed FCNL employee. They are a Quaker-based organization, so even if the people that they employ, even if the people that are part of the organization aren't necessarily people they employ, a lot of the people in their organization tend to be older, over 50. But the people that they employ, their lobbyists, the people on staff, are usually millennials or our generation.
Awesome. And one thing I wanted to touch on about being sort of a younger activist, that can sometimes be sort of like stigmatized, carry a bit of a connotation, being a young activist, especially college campus, liberal arts schools. Has that influenced any of your lobby visits from how you're received by staffers, or?
I think that the first lobby visit that I went on, especially, she kind of dismissed us a little bit, thinking that we were kids. The fact is, though, that we're voting adults, so they should definitely take us seriously. Whether or not we're under the age of 30, 18 is the voting age. So that's the bottom line, really. Whether or not they take me seriously is irrelevant.
Well, very interesting. Well, thank you, Claire, for meeting with me today.
Yeah, thank you.
And on that note, toss it over to Luke with the sports update.
Clear. Thank you all so much. Good job.
No.